So what I'm going to do is, the ball is going to be sitting, essentially, I'll show you guys this way, right through here, okay? And this is, you can even get the vastus lateralis, or your lateral quad with that too. So all those fibers that are going in this region. So it's going to sit here, and I can, of course, mobilize anywhere along that chain, okay? I'm going to lay on my side. So here's the ball, just above the knee, right? And I'm going to balance on my elbow. This leg guides me, helps me push back and forth. So I'm going to be gliding that. I'm going to hit those tender spots, put a little pressure on, and I'm going to mobilize that tissue. Now, of course, you can hold that position too to kind of get that acupressure on that spot. Or I can just work at gliding through, especially when you get to those sticky spots where it's really sore or tender, or it's really stiff and tight. You can really work at stretching and getting in there and loosening up that tissue. Now, I'm on my side, and I'm going back and forth, and I can get up to on the outside of that knee, in the IT band. But remember, you can always angle yourself out more towards the front a little bit too, because it's not just running just along that side. So you can get other tissues also along the chain. So I can work through here, and I can go out here even further up and hold that position and stretch, stretch, stretch all the way through. Okay? So
the fourth one would be for your calves, and Marta is going to put the red ball, which is the hardest one, underneath her calf, and she's just lifting herself off the ground a little bit using her arms, and just very gently you can see she's rolling only a little bit. You find that spot and then you kind of hold that. Now if she wants to increase the load, she can cross her right leg over her left, and that's going to add an awful lot of pressure into where that knot is. And again, you may not even need to use that much pressure. The last one is for your feet, and you can see here Marta's just working all through different points of her feet, underneath her toes, underneath the arch of her foot. The yellow ball is very, well, it's more pliable than the others, so this is a great one to do. And then as well, you can find a spot where it's maybe a little bit tighter and just kind of push down and hold that position. And the other thing as well is that this is a great one that you can do at your desk. So if you are sitting at your desk for an extended period, you can just put one of these on the floor and kind of work through various points in your feet. Fantastic to do, as our feet are what get beat up probably more than anything else. A lot of pressure points and nerve endings in your feet, so this is a great way to work out all that tension and stress. And
a little bit of marker on the foot here. Key structures that you're going to want to work on are going to be starting from the upper leg. You have your posterior tib muscle, which comes up from that posterior calf area, wraps down around the inside of your ankle bone, and then comes down into the arch. Then you have your peroneal muscle, which is on the outside, comes from that fibular head all the way down around the ankle bone, and also wraps down. So both of those guys help lock the heel in and reinforce the arch. Middle part of the foot, the two blue lines right in there, is going to be your plantar fascia. Underneath that plantar fascia is going to be the small tendons of the toe flexors, so all the little muscles that do that. There's a strip that comes right in there. And then on the outside, you have the two little green strips. So between the green and the blue, you have the muscles for your big toe. Really important there, especially if you have any kind of a bunion or any kind of sesamoid problems. Sesamoids are actually housed in the tendons of the flexor hallucis brevis. And then on the outside, you have the little muscles that move the little toe. So those guys are that green strip over here. Now as we're working on the foot, we're going to use those same techniques that we've been using. We're going to be lengthening the muscle or elongating it with the foam roller. And we're going to be using the deeper techniques, cross friction and trigger point. Because the foot is so small, big foam roller isn't going to help you out a whole lot. So if you're lucky enough to have a smaller foam roller, you're in luck. Otherwise, an easy way you can do it is if you freeze a water bottle, 16-ouncer, solid as a block, put a pillowcase over it, you can use that as well. The reason that I put out different colors of the foot is that if you visualize it, you have 3 different strips. So if you start with that calcaneus. You have the first strip up to the base of the big toe. You have the middle strip, and then you have that outer strip to the base of the little toe. When you're working on them, you want to hit each of those strips. Okay? So when you're foam rolling, I like to start in real close to the calcaneus, and from there, I come all the way down to the ball of the foot. I usually start off sitting, and then I work my way up to standing so that I can get some good pressure on it. Foam rolling is a great way to get the blood flowing, loosen up the tendons and the structures underneath. Also helps desensitize it. There's a lot of nerves that run through there. If there's any kind of muscle spasm or knots, it can be really painful. So when I was talking about those 3 strips, start by keeping the foot flat, and then roll inside to get that inner arch and those big toe muscles. Okay, and then you want to get the outside muscles. So middle, inside, outside. Like the other muscle groups that we've been talking about, I like to focus on the foam roller technique for about 3 to 5 minutes. Just enough to get it warmed up, but not enough to irritate it. If it's not loose enough after that 3 to 5 minutes, move on to a different area anyway. If you find that you're really sensitive on either of those long tendons, you're going to want to move up and work on them as well. So review your post-tib release and your peroneal release. So when it comes to cross friction, you want to start right on that insertion point. Okay? Now remember, cross friction is a really small movement. It's only an inch or so, and it works by sinking in deep and working perpendicular to it. So you can actually work that whole strip 1 little inch at a time. Okay? You can work right up into the ball of the foot, get right in there, and then work all the way down. Also want to work on where that posterior tib comes through. If you're not sure if you're on it, posterior tib plantar flexes the foot and comes up, so you can actually feel it. Where that big bone sticks out, come right in. Okay? So, from there, you want to cross friction that. Same with the peroneal. Peroneal tendon comes right behind the ankle. You feel right under there, there's a bone right there that pops out. It comes above that and comes out to the next one that pops out. So from there, you want to cross friction that way. Other thing you can do is you can work on those other strips. So you can get right underneath the big toe. If you're having any kind of sesamoid issues, good areas to get right underneath that big toe. Same with the outside of the foot. If you're really common to any kind of stress fractures in the outside there, work that little strip. Okay? When I'm doing the cross friction, I like to start seated so that I can put weight on it. Try and relax the toes so that they're not up like that. And from there, it's going to be that side to side movement. And then I work my way.